Well, it's episode 47 of What Could Go Wrong Went Wrong. Gene's rear differential has been leaking, not a lot, but dripping, and I don't like any drips, and it was dripping in the garage. I brought it out here 2 weeks ago and replaced the pinion seal. It was definitely leaking. Not bad, it was leaking just a little bit of oil, just enough to drip. Got it all wiped down, thought we had this thing dialed. Put it back in the garage, it started dripping. Now, I had this thing re-geared, 2 or 3 years ago by a local shop, and when I got it back, it had freaking RTV all around the front and the back. So that right away, I had some concerns because the gasket that comes in the Jeep is reusable. So quite some time ago, I ordered a gasket, replacement gasket. This is gasket. The part number is, it says it's not in most of the shops. It's not in stock. So I found the shop in South Carolina. They said they had it. They shipped it to me. It sat here on the shelf, so I had time to do it. Well, today was the day I was going to do it. Well, I pulled it apart, pulled the cover off, cleaned everything up, grabbed the gasket, and it was not the right gasket. And yes, the RTV was the only gasket that was in there. So very, very frustrated. Couldn't find a gasket. There's not one here. I'm not going to get one shipped. And she wants to drive her Jeep. So I'm like, okay, this job's pretty easy. So from years ago, from doing a top end on a two-stroke at a race, when I didn't have no gaskets, I bought some of this stuff. And I had it, so I made a homemade gasket. And unfortunately, it's 3-piece. And I used some RTV, and I put it back together. I put some new oil in it. So the oil didn't look too bad. I think we've got, I don't know, 10, 20,000 maybe on the gearing. So they did a good job with the gearing. Why did they not reuse the gasket? And probably tore it and couldn't find it and use that RTV. And the RTV will leak. So this is a temporary repair till I get that. So anyway, I'm going to bring my JK in. We put an aftermarket radio in. It doesn't let me do all of the functions on the radio because it doesn't have the emergency brake tie into it. So I got to take the emergency brake cable from the radio and tie it to the ground so I can program my map while I'm driving. And some people play DVDs. I don't do any of that when I'm driving, but I do want to set my grid lines on my parking camera, and it won't let me do that either. So that's the next project. But in the meantime, because we've always got a bunch of projects, we bought this net for this pool, and Gene got in the pool today. It is supposed to be 90. I think it was 80 something when she got in there, and it's chilly. We've had some chilly nights down in the 40s. I didn't measure the water temperature. I didn't want to scare her, but we stuck the ladder back in. She vacuumed everything out, and we got our pool vac working really good. And then we've got this net, Amazon net, like $80, to catch the leaves, because that big oak tree is directly to the north, and as soon as the wind starts blowing out of the north, because it always blows in Texas, it's going to blow all the oak tree and all the ash tree, the neighbor's oak tree, and whatever other leaves we got blowing are going to end up in that thing. So now it's going to end up on the net. So not everything is bad, just frustrating getting into that and not getting it done. So episode 49 of What Can Go Wrong Went Wrong.